Hello and welcome to this video for Heybridge High School, and it's on number and proportion and our unit NP10, which is all about ratio. Now, in order to study this unit, you need to know a few things first. In year 7, you learned all about multiplication and division and the different techniques for them and the times when we need to use them, and you practiced lots of problem solving with them. And then you also later in the year learnt about fractions. Now both of these things feed into this unit on ratio. So if you need to make sure that you know what you're doing there, do go back and take a look over the content of those units as well. So your remote learning document on ratio looks like this, and you'll see some instructions at the top that are the same for all of our remote learning documents. But in case you haven't looked at one before, I'll just talk you through it. What you'll have on this document are a set of objectives that cover all of the learning from the ratio unit. If you work through these objectives and tick off all of the activities as you go through, then you will cover everything that you need to know so that when you come back to school, you're completely up to speed. So we need you to make sure you work through the tasks in order, make sure you don't leave anything out, and tick the tasks off as you go through so that if you're working over a series of days, you don't lose track of what you've done already or where you've got to. Now for this unit, the first two objectives introduce you to the idea of a ratio, how to write a ratio, what it looks like, and how to simplify or find equivalent ratios. And you'll find a lot of this work very similar to what you've learned on fractions already, because ratios, like fractions, are just a way of explaining the relationship between two numbers that are linked to each other somehow. And ratios look like this, where you have two numbers and a colon in between them. And the image I've got on the screen here is of screen aspects. And you'll notice that different TVs and different devices have different sized screens. And the ratio of the length to the width on a screen is called the screen aspect. So this is an example of how ratios are used in contexts other than maths. Now, objectives 3 and 4 on this unit are to do with maps and learning how to read map scales. So first of all, you'll learn how to write a ratio in the form 1 to a number or a number to 1, and then you'll learn how to apply that directly to map scales which use this. And you'll see my picture on the right here shows an example of some different maps with different scales and how those work. These are all taken from Ordnance Survey maps, which you may or may not have seen when you're out walking with your families. So just like all of the other objectives here, you'll notice that we would like you to do things like watch videos on Corbett Maths, complete some questions in your maths book, and also to complete some tasks on Hegarty. The Hegarty tasks are the ones that your teachers can check directly, and we use them as a way of making sure that you've understood what it is you've been learning. So please make sure with your Hegarty tasks that you watch the videos to help you if you need to, but you try and get the best possible score you can on each of those tasks. Because once you can do that, you've proven to us and to yourself that you know what the content is that you're supposed to have learned. Objective 5 on this unit will explicitly link fractions and ratios. So you'll learn all about how those two relate to each other. And then the last two objectives, Objective 6 and Objective 7, are all about taking amounts and dividing them up into ratios. So this is to do with sharing things into parts. For instance, you might have a sum of money that you need to share between 2 or more people, and they're going to get different amounts. And the way we can do that is by working with ratios. So what comes next in this unit? Well, it's part of a bigger topic called proportion. So one of the later units you'll learn about is proportional reasoning. And in this unit, we'll do things like recipes, scaling up recipes for more people or for fewer people. And we'll do things like working out which of 2 offers are the best value for money and lots more as well. And then later on in your schooling, this leads on to the concept of advanced proportion, which is where we'll link proportion with algebra as well. So thank you for listening. Off you go with the unit, and do get in touch with us if you need any help.